friends are having a great time. It's not face to face, it's all online. We're all in our homes, miles away. Love them like my family, what can I say? My crafting show is on, it's my time for me. Laughter, tips and tricks, this is what I need. We're here to have fun, we're all in the zone. When crafting with friends, you're never alone. Don't call or text me, it's about to begin. I've been patient, time for me to chime in. Comfy clothes on, feeling just fine. I'm busy right now, it's crafting show time. My crafting show is on, it's my time for me. Laughter, tips and tricks, this is what I need. We're here to have fun, we're all in the zone. When crafting with friends, you're never alone. The host came on, they are truly a gem. Here for the show and to chat with my friends. Chat with each other about this and that. We share ideas, wisdom and other fun facts. My crafting show is on, it's my time for me. Laughter, tips and tricks, this is what I...
Live from the Sunshine State in Miami, Florida, here is the Gifted Crafters Morning Show with Nancy.
Good time. Ooh, time to get our craft on. Ooh, time to have fun. Ooh, time to feel good.
Good morning, Gifted Crafters, and welcome back to the Gifted Crafters Morning Show. Hello, hello out there, and happy Monday. We are back for another week of crafting here. Good morning. Let's see who we have from all over the place. We've got people from Ohio, from Pennsylvania. I see people from Virginia, Maryland. Good morning from Florida. Yay. Now, if you're tuning in for the first time, my name is Nancy with GiftsHQ, and I host these daily sessions to just talk about crafting and things that we love to do, like sewing, knitting, crocheting, decoupage, all kinds of crafts. We like to touch upon that here and share tips, tricks, and ideas. And if you have a craft show coming up, or maybe you've got a little Etsy shop, or you're just looking for a quick little gift, this is the perfect place for you. So pop yourself into the chat and say hello to our friends out there, because we got an awesome community out there ready and waiting to welcome you and bring you in. So guys, I think it's a really hot day today. I'm not sure how the weather is where you're at, but it is scorching hot over here. And I see we have people from Maryland. I see my friends from Canada. Good morning. Awesome. All righty, Louisiana. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you all for tuning in. I really appreciate all of the support that we reach from you guys. So awesome. Awesome. Wow. We've got Central Illinois, Louisiana. Let's see. Anybody that I missed? Ohio. Not sure who else I missed. If I missed you, so sorry, but we'll keep the chat moving, and I'll try to catch you there. Alrighty. So Really exciting week. We are back at Monday and we're going to be starting a new project. We had a lot of fun last month. It was Christmas in July, so we did all kinds of Christmas projects throughout the month of July and we were able to finish things up. So I was really excited about that one. And we've got a couple of things still going on. So we are all done with the pillow wrap. It was a Santa pillow wrap that we did. I've got a quilt in the back here sitting on my machine because I am quilting it using a Designs by Juju edge-to-edge quilting, and I'm doing it with my 5x7 hoops. So yes, hey, from Australia, awesome. Thank you for joining. Woohoo! Awesome. No, it is not TGIF. No. All righty. So good morning and good morning. Awesome. Okay. So we're ready to start something new because we're now in August. A lot of the kids are going back to school. So I plan on trying to do some little project for back to school today, but I thought, let's just jump the gun and get into the fall season because it's one of my favorite seasons because I really love the colors in the fabrics that come through for the fall. Notice I said fabrics, not so much the weather. I am from Florida, so we don't really get a lot of the seasons here. It's really much summer all year round. We do get a little bit cool though, and it does feel a little bit like fall towards the end of the year, but not quite as much as up north. But I do love the colors, and I do miss seeing the trees turning the colors, so I do miss that. Oh, good morning. Good morning, Sue. How are you? So yeah, it's Monday and we're just going to start at new project. I'm going to wrap up and just quickly show you the last of the projects that we've done, the pillow and the final outcome of that. And we're going to go through what our new project is going to be, look at some of the details on that, and then we'll be just kind of doing that project and getting that done live with you guys. So that'll be a lot of fun to just kind of do it all together. So I hope you guys are ready for that one. Awesome. Okay. So one thing that we did meet last week was we met our goal of reaching 10,000 subscribers. So thank you guys so much. I so appreciate each and every one of you. It's just amazing to have reached 10,000 subscribers, and we were so excited about that. So we are doing a celebration. We're going to be celebrating that this Friday, and we're going to do some giveaways, and we're going to have a great time. So we'll take a little break of just crafting, and we'll just spend the day just celebrating and giving things away. Won't that be fun? So I hope you can join me for that on Friday. It's going to be fantastic, and I hope you guys can all be there. Alrighty, let me see if I had anything else. Oh, on Saturday night, we did a little impromptu little live for our members, and that was a lot of fun. We kind of exchanged information, and we did a bit of a Zoom or Google Meets type of call, and we got to interact and share our projects, what are we working on, and kind of really get together with the group at a more intimate level and share all kinds of things. And they were even able to hear one of our upcoming songs that are going to be put out on the CD. So it's a lot of fun. If you're not a member and you're considering joining, go ahead and hit that join button because we have a great time. And we like to do all kinds of things together, including sew-alongs and all kinds of things. So that it's a lot of fun. We're really gearing up and ramping that up to do more and more things with them as well. So awesome, awesome. Okay. So I know you guys must be thirsty. I know I am. So let's go ahead and grab our little cups, and I'll pour you a cup since, I've been kind of chattery this morning. So let's go ahead and do that. So let's pour yourself a cup. I'm going to pour you a cup of coffee. Let me know what you want in it. It has everything that you want, whether it's coffee and you just want one lump or two and maybe some cream, or it could be some tea or anything else that you like to have in the morning. There's no judgments here. Well, thank you for all the congratulatory messages out there on the 10K. Yeah, I was really excited about that. That was really a milestone that we were aiming for. Wasn't sure when that was going to be done, but we happened to do it in, what was it, 3 years? I think, yeah, we reached it in 3 years. So that's pretty amazing. I was really happy about that. All right, so toast to you guys for another wonderful week. Let's go ahead and grab a little swivel of whatever it is you're drinking. Cold pizza for breakfast. Well, let me see what the food truck has in store for you. So I think it's coming right down the line. Here we go. We've got our little food truck, and it's got all kinds of snacks on there for you. Coffee, tea, donuts. We've got it all, muffins, anything that you would like to have, even that cold pizza for you. And of course, for the healthy folks, we've got some kale and carrots so that you can do some of your juicing. Yay. Alrighty, so we've got our snacks, we've got our drinks, and I hope you're in your cozy spot, because now we're going to get ready to get into some of our items here. Let me just show you what the pillow came out to look like. So here it is. Grab that over here. I did a couple of things that I wanted to let you know about. So here is the pillow wrap. And so we've got the rickrack on the side. We've got the binding. And then we have the beard, and the beard was kind of open to doing whatever it is that you wanted. Now, I have a template that is a swirl, but it is too large. And so I was hoping to use that, and then I realized, wait a minute, this is way too large. I wouldn't be able to get in a lot of swirls here. So I ended up just kind of hand drawing this with, I hand drew it with my water erasable marker here. So it's a little pen. Let's do this over to the side so they can see what this looks like. There we go. So it's a water erasable marker. It's by Clover. And it's got, you know, a pretty thick little head to it. So I was able to just kind of hand draw little swirls all around. And then I just took it to my sewing machine and I tried to kind of sew on that line. If I got a little bit off, that was okay. But, you know, I did it with white thread, so I didn't want it to stand out. So I just went ahead and did it. So you can see here, it's kind of hard to see, but when I kind of angle it a little bit, you guys can see the swirls on here. So yay. Thank you, Krissa. Awesome. There's my sister, Jeanette. Awesome. Okay. So I did that. We put the embellishments on there that they gave you, which was a little snowflake and the little button. And again, this was by the Whole Country Caboodle. If you guys missed that, we did work on that this week, and it was a lot of fun. We really had a great time with this. So, you know, it was fun, and it was quick. It wasn't that huge that you couldn't do it in a short period of time. So it was pretty much a tea towel that they gave you that you made into a pillow, and then foam and a piece of fabric to fuse. And then you had the rickrack and the binding. Now, one thing I also did, and let me bring this over because I see if you can see it a little better here. So on the end here, I did add this little decorative stitch. And it's kind of big, so I don't think I can show you the whole thing, but you can see here that decorative stitch there. That's what I added. And this is just securing the Velcro on the other side. And you can see here some of the decorative stitching. It's very faint, but you can see it. And I was able to kind of do that. And so I added that. That was not part of the design in the pattern, but I wanted to add just a little bit of extra on there. And I also kind of added it on the headband here, because the headband was kind of sliced open here. So I didn't want this to kind of stick out over time. I know this was going to kind of pop up. So I did kind of just put that same design over here with the little vine kind of leading up to the little hollies here. So just added a little bit extra something. For the eyes, I just did a little French knot and put the eyes in, and that was it. I did a blanket stitch all the way around, and like we kind of talked about that, it was really difficult for me to do on the machine because the throat size is just so small. I had a really hard time maneuvering it because it's foam, so it makes it a little bit stiff. If it was just fabric, it wouldn't be too bad, but because of the foam that was already fused to it, it made it really difficult to be able to turn and maneuver around the machine because of the throat size. So, you know, it's great to have, you know, I mean, this is a great machine. It is a great machine. It's a great starter machine. It's got about 130 built-in stitches, and it's got 170 different stitch functions. So it's pretty powerful for what it has. It's a really great machine, and it does a great job. So I do like it, but I think I'm ready to kind of move to the next level in terms of a machine. So a straight stitch machine is kind of what I'm aiming for, with a larger throat space. That will allow me to do quilting a little bit better and easier. So great machine, love it. I love all the designs that I have on it. I don't think I would ever get rid of it. I'd probably still keep it because it's a great travel machine too. It's very lightweight. So I'm talking about the Brother HC 1850, if you guys don't know. And, you know, it's a great machine that I'm probably going to just keep as my travel machine at some point, because I would really like to get something a little bit bigger that I can maneuver fabrics on, especially ones that have this foam. So yeah, so this was a great project, a lot of fun to do. So we did complete this. We also have the project that's behind me that's sitting on my Brother HC 1900, and again, I am using a Designs by Juju. It's vines and something it's called. I can't remember the exact name, but it's a background that you can quilt with. And so I have my 5x7 hoop, which is the biggest hoop size for this machine. And so I'm using a magnetic hoop that I'm hoping I don't have to take on and off of the machine. So because it's a magnetic hoop, what I'm doing is I'm using this template here to kind of mark the fabric. And the templates have those little holes here. You can kind of see the little holes on here. So I use these little holes to be able to use as my guide. So I do take this marking pen again, and I'm going to go ahead and mark my little dots here onto the fabric. Am I looking at a Juki machine? Fake or McFake, I looked at the Juki machine, and I'm down to two straight stitch machines. One is the Juki and one is the Brother machine, but I'm kind of holding off because I'm not sure if you guys are aware, Brother has kind of put out 2 videos with hints of some new machines that are going to be coming out this August. And so I'm waiting to see what those machines are, to see if that's something that it will work for me. So they've put their 2 little videos. If you go to their website, brother.usa.com, you should be able to see the little videos. You got to do a little hunting around because they don't like just put it out there for some reason. I'm not sure why. But they do have 2 videos. And if you were at Kimberbell, I think it was was it Saturday, Friday? I think it was Saturday. They had Kimberbell Day, and she played the 2 videos that had the 2 little hints. You don't really see much in the video though. You just see, you know, the needle kind of going up and down. So you know that it's something with sewing, maybe embroidering. I don't know if it's a combo machine that they're gonna gear out or if it's just a straight stitch machine. But yeah, you're excited to see the new multi-needle. Yeah, I don't know exactly what it is that they're coming up with because they haven't really said it, and they only have those 2 little videos that really don't give you too much, but it does get you a little excited that something's coming, and it's going to be in August. So sometime this month, I think it's in the middle of August is when they will release it. So excited to hear about that. Will you still do embroidery? Absolutely. Oh, yes. Absolutely. Definitely. Still going to use the scan and cut. Still going to use my embroidery machine. I'd like to upgrade my embroidery. Definitely. But, you know, there's a lot of things that I want to do, but I have to kind of do them slowly. Yeah. Teaser videos. Yeah. They're so mean. You know, why can't they just tell us? So yeah, I'm excited to know what those are and, you know, just see what they have to offer. And then I'll consider that and make my final decision on what my new machine is going to be. So very excited for that. And, you know, more to come on that one. So in the meantime, I am using that magnetic 5x7 hoop and I'm marking my fabric to be able to do the edge to edge design. And so the way it kind of works is basically you put down your template and you make your mark so that you know what's positioned here and you line up your machine to that center mark. You'll go ahead and you'll stitch that edge to edge design, which shouldn't take more than a minute or two, right? It's all one thread color. You know, everything's just there. And then once it's done with the design, the idea is that you don't take the hoop off of the machine because it's a magnetic hoop. So you just remove the magnets and then you're going to shift your project or your material, your fabric, whatever you want to call it. And you'll kind of have to reline up all of your dots. So before you even put it onto the machine, you want to kind of go through and just line this template up and make all of your markings. And then after it finishes doing the design, you're just going to take the template and keep moving it down, keep moving your project over. And before you know it, your entire project will be quilted all the way on the edge. And then you can kind of move to the next row. And so you use the template with the little dots to line that up and move that right along. So it's pretty cool how the whole thing works. And so I do like it. So it's a table runner, so I should be able to just kind of go straight across. I am starting right in the middle. And so I'm going to go through one edge and then I'll turn around and go through the other edge. So that's kind of how I'm working that on this small machine. So we'll see how long it takes. I'll try to do a little bit every day and just kind of get that going. So not sure if I'll be able to dedicate a lot of hours to just sitting there for the whole thing right now, but we'll kind of move that along. Okay, so let's just go ahead now. I think we're going to go over to our crafting news and we're going to go ahead and give you that information. And then right after that, we're going to get right into our new project. So let's see what we have for crafting news. Okay, so we're going to go over to Ohio and Florida because we've got a special group of volunteers, nearly about 100 of them, that are mostly seniors, and they come together and sew comfort and kindness with every stitch. They're called the Gold Heart Quilters, and they've made it a mission to create handmade quilts for people who are going through tough times. Now, since 2018, they've donated about 1,000 quilts each year to places like Hospice of Dayton, the Ronald McDonald House, and even military families in the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. And they also do this at no cost to any of the people that are receiving the quilts, which is pretty cool. It's all given with lots of love. And the group was founded by Debbie Goldshot, who says that the idea came straight from the heart and maybe from some kind of higher power. We don't know. It's a gift that keeps helping others, and it's just something that helps her feel better, and knowing that her time and her talents are making a difference in someone else's life. The volunteers sew from their home, and they meet once a month at the Montgomery County area. They're working on everything from baby quilts to full-size bed quilts. And when you can sew whether you can sew a straight line or if you're an experienced quilter, they welcome everyone with open arms. So if you're in that area and you're interested in joining, that's a really nice little guild to join. You can get more information at their website, goldheartquilters.com. So reach out there for more info. Okay, now we're going to go over to a little story from a small California town. So this summer, a bunch of kids spent their days learning how to sew, cook, and create. And they were not guided by teachers, but by a bunch of grandmas. Isn't that pretty cool? Yeah, their summer camp was run by a bunch of grandmas. And these wise women taught the kids how to stitch, how to embroider, and how to even make clay jewelry. All while they were sharing laughter, stories, and a few gentle little life lessons. So isn't that awesome? I would love for my kids to have participated in that. Now, the kids learned how to use a sewing machine, how to hand stitch straight lines, and even how to turn fabric into little pouches. So one grandma patiently coached a young camper through sewing a straight seam, and she finally got it. And so she was so excited that she got it. It was all smiles for everyone there. And, you know, it was just something she really wanted to achieve, how to sew that straight stitch. And the grandma was able to achieve that with her. So that was really a nice accomplishment. So it wasn't just about teaching the kids. It's also about connecting with them. Many of them missed their own grandmas as well. And some of them, you know, live far away from their families. So spending time with the kids really filled up their hearts. And the kids said that the food was great. They kept coming back for crafts, kindness, and love. So I thought that was really neat. I loved how they, you know, were able to connect and get that together. So those are the stories that I have for you guys today, and I thought those were really heartfelt messages, so I like to share those with you guys. So, okay, I think we're ready to kind of get into the project now. So let me kind of move this over. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention, this is the background fabric that I put on to the table runner is this fabric here. Not sure if I had showed you guys this before, but this is the background fabric that I picked. It's red. It has a little bit of floral to it, but I think it works really well with that table runner. So that's what I'm using for the background. And of course, I've got my batting in there as well. So that is ready to go, and I'll be finishing that up pretty soon. And so now let's get on with our new project. We've got this pretty little box here, and it's screaming fall on here, right? So let me just move this here. This is another Riley Blake design, and I love the little box. It says this beautiful fabric was designed by Lori Holt, Bee in My Bonnet. So she's got this cute little kind of little label there that's printed onto the box. So really cute. So let's show you that here. So I love the way they kind of put this together. The box is really beautiful. And then this is the name of the new project. It's called Autumn Skies Runner. Again, it's a Riley Blake design, and this is what it looks like. Okay, see, did it, whoops, sorry guys, hold on a second. Let's get that here, there you go. So this is what it looks like, pretty simple little table runner. It's got something similar like a woven star. We did this on our paper piecing here. So these are like woven stars with different colors on them. And then it's got a simple border going all the way across, which is pretty neat. I think it's a really pretty design. It measures 28 by 42. And so I think it's gonna be really neat. Now, the reason why I wanted to kind of touch upon this, because we were doing the paper piecing project that has the woven star. And this is very similar to it, but we did it with paper piecing. So now we're gonna be doing this with just stitching it together. So I'm going to kind of see how the difference feels like when you're doing it through paper piecing versus stitching it yourself, right? And just piecing it together. So it's going to be a little bit comparison between the two. And I have a couple of woven stars that I haven't done. So I'm going to see if I can kind of do them side by side and do the comparison to see, you know, how does it feel doing it one way when you're piecing it together, and how does it feel when you're doing it as a paper piece. So it's kind of like paper piecing versus piecing. And we'll see kind of how they turn out and where the difficulties are and the different techniques that you use. So it's going to be a lot of fun kind of looking at it from that perspective. When did, oh, you mean where did I get the, okay, so the pattern, so when did I get the pattern? When did I get this? It was a while ago. It was a while ago. Don't remember exactly when it was, but they know it's still available on their website. I believe it was the Fat Quarter Shop. Does it come with the fabric? Yes, it does. And we're going to go through that in just a second. So this is the pattern, and that comes into the box. And then inside the box, we've got all of the fabric that comes with it. And so on here, you can see right off the bat, you've got a little charm pack here, and then you've got all kinds of fabric here. So let's open this up and see exactly what you get. Okay, sorry for all the plastic noise here. Here we go. Okay. So here we are. We've got a little charm pack, and let's see if we can kind of open this up because it is sealed. Here's my little cutter. I don't have it here. Let me just use this little scissor to make a little mark. Oh, you've got it. Okay, awesome. Thank you. There we go. Okay. Much better. Let's open this up. Okay, so off the bat, really pretty colors. Let's see if I can kind of go through. It's got the back here, so in the back it kind of shows a lot of the colors on here. And then let's see what we've got. This one right off the bat, very pretty. I'm going to try to take this off so I can show you a little better. There we go. Okay, much better. Let's see. Very cute. And so all of these, this charm square is basically what's going to make up the woven star on the bottom here. So you've got a lot of fall colors on here, some oranges, some browns, got a little bit of red in here. Did I miss this one? There we go. We've got some greens on here as well. Some blues. A little bit of purple on there too. Some pinkish red, and oh, these are beautiful. Nice browns on here. So a little bit of everything, which is nice. So you'll have a fun time kind of putting that together. Now I'm going to use the same technique that I did with paper piecing. When I was doing the paper piecing, that came with a layer cake. And I starched that fabric. So I'm going to do the same thing with these fabrics. So tonight I'll be starching these so that we'll be ready to go on this project. So also going to starch. That way, you know, they're both on equal ground. So we'll be starching both of these here. These fabrics are adorable. I'm using a lot of that in my Autumn Love wall hanging. Yeah, the fabric is quality. Yes, it is. It is. You know, and Autumn Love, I debated on doing that one, and then I decided not to. And I know people are struggling a lot with that one, but hang in there, because, you know, I think it's going to turn out. It was a lot of issues in the beginning of that pattern, but I think they're gonna, you know, turn it around. I may catch the second one that they kind of pull out. Love the fabrics. Yeah, so let's take a look at these other ones here. They have this one, and it's quite a lot on this one. I think this will be the background fabric that they have here, because it's quite a lot of it, so I'm pretty sure that that's what that is. And they've got some words on here. Chili, it says fall, autumn, love, trees, cider, crow, all of thankful, all of the fall types of sayings that you see. So I thought that's really neat. It has really nice little sayings on it. Sunflower, you know, all kinds of words, hay rides, trees. So that's pretty neat that they've got all the words on there. And this will be a nice background fabric. And then I've got some other fabrics, and I believe this will be like the borders. So we've got a nice brown here. And I believe that's going to be this one here. Whoops, off to the side over here. But that's the color. Very pretty. And then we've got like a blue, which I'm imagining it's this bottom border here. Really pretty. And we've got the top border is represented by this green fabric here with some flowers on it. So that's really cute. And let's see, we've got this other side border here is some red with flowers. It's got a little mix with yellow and brown in there. And then I have this fabric here, and I believe this is probably the binding fabric. I have to kind of go through the instructions, but I'm pretty sure that's what this is. If we're following the picture, then that's what this is. So that's a really pretty fabric as well. And so it's kind of curious because on my paper piecing pattern, we use a 10-inch layer cake. And we kind of cut it up, but this pattern uses a charm pack, which is pretty small for a woven star. So it's going to be really interesting because I'm so used to doing the paper piecing pattern, because you have to do maybe about 40 of those to put those together. And so I got used to that, you know, flow as you go through your projects. You kind of get yourself into a flow because you've got to make multiples of the same thing, right? So you get into that flow of making that paper pattern, and then now I've got to switch over to piecing. So it's going to be a little odd on that. What's the number on the package for that fall quilt? The number on the package. Let's see here. I will turn it around. I think it's KT14651, and I'll show you that right here. I think that's what you're looking for. See if I can get this. There you go. You can scan it if you want. Hopefully that is clear enough for you to be able to do that. And so you can see here, it tells you the number. I think that's the number that you're looking for. Okay, but yeah, it looks like it's a pretty simple design, and you know, it's just that woven star. Now, the woven star is trickier than it looks, right? For paper piecing, I guess it makes it a little bit easier, but you still do have to line up the two halves. And let me kind of just show you what I mean here. I'll grab my little bag here. Whoa. And let me just show you a quick comparison of the two. So these are the woven stars that come for paper piecing. So you see how this is just using the charm pack, but I'm sure it's going to be building. I'm wondering if it's going to be the same size even. So in this pattern, and this one is called, it's another fat quarter shot pattern. And this one's a free pattern that you can download. It's called the Star Climber. And so it does a little mini quilt here with no borders. And so you can see here, let me see if I can put it up or close so you can see the woven stars, and it also uses what's called the courthouse steps block. And those, you can see the difference between the two here. You can see this woven star, and then you can see the courthouse steps. Courthouse steps is a very simple block to do for paper piecing, but then the woven star is where the little bit of a challenge comes in, because you have to break it up into pieces. And I think I have one here I can show you. So you've got the notebook that you can purchase. You'd have to get the paper piecing notebook, and then as you put it together, the first thing you have to do is cut it up into 4 pieces, and then you kind of sew on the paper, and then afterwards you're gonna line these up. You can see that this has little dots here, and you use those dots to kind of line them up and kind of put the woven star back together. And so it kind of walks you through it and makes it a little bit easy on the paper piecing, but I'll show you what some of these look like. So these are some of the ones that are completed, and you can see on the back, they make it really easy. You can kind of see the back here, how it gets put together there. But let me try to angle this so you guys can see it a little better. So these are all scrappy. So all different fabrics were being used. And so you get into this flow of making these woven stars, but with the paper piecing method. And now with this particular box, we're actually going to be piecing it together. And from what I peeked really quick, it's using the stitch and flip method on this. So it's going to be really interesting to kind of see how these two methods kind of compare and contrast with each other, and see which one is a little bit more difficult. I have a feeling that the paper piecing method is going to be easier than the piecing method, because in the paper piecing method, you've got so many things to guide you. It just makes it a little bit easier to get that perfect little star every time. But the piecing method from Autumn Stars, I think, you know, you're going to have some guides and some things to follow. But I think it's going to be more of, did you sew it straight, and doing a lot of checks after each step. So let's take a look at what their instructions say here. Let's see. I think I have it on the bottom of the pile here. Okay. So on here, it gives you, of course, the cutting instructions, and there is a pattern update to it. So Riley Blakes did put a pattern update on here. Okay, so make sure on your original pattern that you have, there's 3 different steps, and these are cutting corrections, where the pattern itself tells you to cut the width at a dimension, and then the length, it has it listed as 2.5. But the update tells you it's 2 inches, not 2.5. So first thing I'm going to do is kind of draw a little line on everything that got corrected in the instructions, and just kind of put the corrected amount to cut there, and just mark it on here. I'll still keep this too, but I just don't want that if I mark up the original book and I keep pulling this out to look at for additional direction, if I don't mark it and I forget all about this paper, I'm going to cut my fabric to the wrong size. So make sure you mark your books, or make yourself a notation that there is an update here. That way you don't make that mistake. Okay, because once you cut your fabric, right? So you want to make sure that you're cutting it to the right dimension here. So that was the first thing that I noticed. So you do have to make a note on that. They do tell you that your basic notions are not included, but they are really just basic sewing supplies, and the batting, of course, that's not included. So you do have everything else that you're going to need for this. And then in terms of the sewing techniques, and this is what I really like about their instructions, all of their patterns, they tell you what technique you're going to be using ahead of time. So you can kind of read up on it. You can even search some videos on that particular type of method, because there's not just one way of doing it. So you can kind of see what different ways there are for your to use your sewing technique. Okay, I think we've got, does it have instructions on the starch? No, it does not. It does not. It doesn't say anything on here. Even it doesn't even tell you to starch it. It doesn't. It just goes right into the fabric requirements, the notions, and the cutting requirements. It doesn't really say anything about the starching. However, because I know I'm going to be using, just from reading, and that's why it's important to read through the instructions first before you actually start the project, because right off the bat, it's telling me sewing techniques that you're going to be using is the stitch and flip method. And so I'll show you that just briefly on here. So stitch and flip method, here we go. See how it kind of goes through and lets you know you're going to be using the stitch and flip method. And so because of that, I want to make sure that my fabrics stay as stiff as possible, because I'm going to be stitching it, flipping it, and making sure that the base shape keeps the shape that we're desired to get on here. So I want to make sure that I starch these really well, but I'm also doing the comparison with the Woven Star quilt block on the paper piecing method. So I want to use the same exact starch because I want to do that side-by-side comparison. And this paper piecing method used these right here. This is what I have left over. So this is a layer cake here. And these are the colors that it uses for the stars. Now, these are already starched. And I've starched them all and kind of just put them in my bag. These are ready to be cut and just kind of continue on. It also has a background fabric on here, and I have a little piece of it here. It's just white on white. Really cute background. And so that's what I'm using for the Woven Star. And those are already starched and cut up as well. So now tonight I will be starching these fabrics and getting these ready so that we can start cutting and doing the stitch and flip method for this particular project. So I will use the same exact starch that I used for the other one because I don't want to change starches. I want to keep the same one. And so I want the comparison really to be one for one as much as possible. So we're going to try that out. So I may do a Woven Star here from this particular design. Just do one again so that you guys can see that. And then we'll do one from the Autumn Skies project on this one, so we can compare and contrast the two. Again, this one's using stitch and flip method. This one is using the paper piecing method. But I think the stars, I'll have to see what the finished size is on the star itself. Let's see, I believe, just from off the bat looking at it, I believe it's 6.5 by 6.5, which is pretty much the same size as this one. This ends up being a 6-inch block, but it's 6.5 inch unfinished. And then when you put the whole thing together, of course, it's going to be 6 inches. So same size, two different methods. We've got the fabrics going to be starched the same way. And then we're going to see what happens. Which one is quicker, which one is a little bit more complex, and what are the different things that you need to look out for when you're using either method. So we'll see. So let me know, what do you think is going to be easier? Is it going to be the paper piecing method, or is it going to be using the stitch and flip method with your sewing machine? It's going to be interesting to see where the comparisons are and, finding out what's easier, what's harder, and where the difficulties lie on here. So I like to kind of take deep dives into these things and kind of really look to see how these two methods really are different. So not sure which one you guys prefer. Do you prefer paper piecing or do you prefer just piecing your items? But, you know, we're going to take a look at both of them and see what happens. So I think that's going to be a lot of fun. Let's see. Other things that they mention on here are, of course, your piecing instructions. They do ask for you to draw diagonal lines, of course, stitch corner to corner, and then, you know, do the flip on the item. So that's the instructions that they give you. But of course, there's different tools and things that you can use with that as well. So we may take a look at some of that too. You think paper piecing is easier? Yeah, I do too. I do too. I think the paper piecing is easier just because, you know, it really gives you a lot of things to kind of follow, right? And I think you've got the lines right there. It's just, I don't know. We'll have to see how it goes. But I found the paper piecing to be pretty easy, but we'll see what happens. So maybe we'll even time to see which one takes longer, right? You like doing which, Lisa says, I like doing whichever method gives the best result. Yeah. Yeah. And Heather likes the precision of paper piecing. Yeah, it's, you know, paper piecing is a lot of fun. I mean, it does really give you some great results on here. So I've really enjoyed this project, but I do want to finish that one up because I did do the courthouse steps and I've got all of those completely done. So these are all done. And this one is a completely different design. So this is what the courthouse steps blocks look like. And so I've got a whole stack of them here ready to go, ready to get pieced together, but I need to finish the woven star ones. And so that's kind of where I'm at. So tons and tons of them here, all scrappy, but this one was very easy to do, very easy, was put together very quickly. And so these, you know, I was able to bang out pretty quickly there. So and now it's just kind of putting it all together. So hopefully I can bang out 2 projects at the same time because I'm doing the comparison with them. So we'll see how that goes. So I have these in my little project bag, just stored away because I don't want them to get dirty. And so I like to keep everything here and I can kind of take this with me to go if I have an opportunity to work on it somewhere else. I try to do that. So yeah, very beautiful fabrics. I think that the project's going to come out really well. And I think it's going to be fun comparing it to the other one. So, alrighty. So let's see what else we have on here. Besides the fabric requirements, the cutting requirements, again, it tells you about the stitch and flip method. And they also mentioned that they use Lori's Seam So Easy seam guide to make that diagonal line. Now I have a little creative grids ruler that kind of does that. So that's what I'm going to be using. But if you have the seam guide, you can try it. Sassy says, I have never tried paper piecing, so it'll be very interesting to see this method. Yeah. Yeah. Well, paper piecing is a lot of fun. It really is. And you really don't need too much more other than your basic sewing supplies. Although I would recommend the add a quarter ruler. If you don't have the add a quarter ruler and you want to do paper piecing, that's going to be just, you know, it's so much easier to do it with that. It's so much easier. I mean, you can do it with a regular ruler. You're just adding a 1/4 of an inch seam there. But man, the add a quarter, you don't even have to think. You just kind of bump it up against the fabric and make the cut. And it's just so easy. Makes it so much easier and quicker. So if you don't have one of those, you can get the small one, and they have the 6-inch one and they have the 12-inch ones that you can get. So really, really easy on those. In fact, I just bought a second one because I did nick one of them by accident. So I bought a small 6-inch one. Let me see if I can pull it out for you guys. We'll check really quick. Yep, here it is right on top. so it's called Add a Quarter Plus. And let me bring it over here to the side. This is what it looks like. And let me open it up so you can see what this is. It's just basically a ruler with a little lip on the side here. You can see that little lip here. So this little lip is what bumps up against that fabric, and you've got a 1/4 inch that's measuring from that end to this line right here. So it gives you that perfect 1/4 inch seam every time, and you're just going to be bumping up your fabric up against it here like that. You bump it up there and you'll have that perfect 1/4 inch, and then you make the cut. And so you don't even have to think. You just kind of bump it up and you cut it. And that's it. You get that perfect 1/4 inch every time. Versus if you have a ruler, then you have to kind of line it up and you have to see where's your 1/4 inch, make sure you're straight, and then make that cut. You know, so this just makes it so much easier. So much easier. You can find these on Amazon, guys. So much easier to do. So that's a definite plus. If you're doing paper piecing, you'll want to have one of those and make your life so much easier. Okay, so in this pattern, it does talk about that particular, what is it called? I lost my place here. The Lori Sews So Easy Seam Guide. So it talks about that seam guide, but again, I have the Creative Grid Ruler, so that's what I'm going to be doing. And that's about it. I mean, the layout's pretty easy. Everything in the instructions seem pretty neat to do. So I think we're going to move right along with this project. And so that's what we'll be working on this week. And I hope you guys will join me for that journey and doing the comparisons. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Alrighty, so we're towards the end of our hour. So let's head over to our quote of the day, because I'd like to get that over to you guys. All right, so today's inspirational quote of the day is, "Each new project begins with hope and ends with something to hold on to." And I hope that's what this week's project is going to do for us. We like to begin new projects, but we've got a lot of hopes, and we're going to learn a lot of things together too, and do a lot of different comparisons. So I think it's a lot of fun, and I hope you guys join me on that journey. Well, thank you guys. I think we're running out of time, and we've got Becky from Power Tools with Threads will be coming up soon, and she is back this morning. So let's tune in and support other YouTubers that are out there as well. And I thank you guys for all of your support. I truly appreciate it. And I hope you'll be back tomorrow morning, where we'll start off our project. All right, guys, I hope you have a fantastic day, and I hope to be crafting with you soon. Bye, everyone.
So long for now, so long. Glad you stayed a while. Hope you liked my crafting style. Hope I left you with a smile. By now, keep your mind and space clutter-free. Hope your day is bright as can be. So long, my friends, till we craft once again. By now, stay crafting. See you tomorrow. So long, my friends, till we craft once again.